No. Damn it, not yet.
What's happening?
To restore the Bifrost magic, you must step into the light. But be very careful not to get caught.
Crossfire!
No! She's not dead. Is she?
Not likely. Come.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play God of War 2, The Dark World.
Touch nothing.
Okay.
We've now arrived safely and soundly in Alfheim.
I think you killed it.
I killed many things, boy.
Whoa, what's that about?
Not our concern, boy. Focus.
Before we have Atreus read those runes, we're gonna grab some hack silver.
Boy. What does it say?
Something about an eternal war for the light. I don't get it. If both sides need it, why not just share it?
Greed. You will find it a common cause for war.
They keep murdering the Light Elves.
It is war. The end of one. The robed one's lost.
So the main new enemy type that we get here in Alfheim are, of course, elves. In this case, really gross bug elves. We really don't come up against many light elves because they are on the losing side of a war against the dark elves here. Now, the main thing that makes the Dark Elf enemies different from anything that we fought so far is their ability to fly, which means that we can't really air combo them. They have a lot of really good escape tools. They're super mobile enemies. That's gonna work, though. Great. Didn't quite get the kill animation, but with the boys' arrows, we can keep them in stun lock long enough to kill them.
They didn't do anything.
More will come.
They also have a projectile from their staffs. I don't know if you noticed, but it could not be blocked.
Did you say something?
It
No.
lingers on the ground and explodes.
Getting closer to the light. Wait, is that Sindri?
Yes, and we're waiting for some dialogue to show up from Sindri. Sindri? I know you have dialogue for me, Sindri. Sindri? Why won't you talk to me, Sindri? Oh, Sindri.
Oh, what brings you
Maybe I have to upgrade the Leviathan axe. We did get that frozen flame from the troll fight.
On it again, but if he does, tell him to temper his steel longer. He's warping the bit work.
Sindri? Let's trigger the next bit of
Look,
progression.
there's a boat tangled up over there.
And? Hey, there we are.
How are you here before us, dwarf? We were told our path was the only one between realms.
Well, it may be the only way for you to travel, but we dwarves are full of surprises.
That is not an answer.
Hang on to that sense of wonder. There's so little mystery once you've amassed the wealth of arcane knowledge that I have. Where to comb the realms for exotic resources. How to craft them into creations that defy imagination. To the novice, I'm sure it all seems like magic. But, all right. It's magic. Are you happy now?
Sindri, have you always been so...
Clean? Huh. Don't I wish. No, I was just as unsanitary as the next dwarf until the day a Vanir witch set me straight. She discovered with her magic there are hundreds of thousands of tiny beasties on everything around us. Oh, so small you can't even see them.
No.
It's true. And if they get inside you, they make you sick. But the witch told me there's one wood, the oak, that's a natural deterrent. Stops the beasties from spreading. So now, I make all my handles from oak. See? I think of these things. Okay, back to work.
So how come Brock's blue and you're not?
Boy,
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
Oh, it's fine. Very good question, actually. You see, my brother's not as careful as I am. In fact, he prefers to work with metals using his own bare hands. Ugh. No gloves. Says it's the only way he can hear what it wants to be. Touch enough raw silver and it changes your skin irreparably. That means forever. I wouldn't bring it up to him, though. You know how sensitive he can be.
I guess that makes sense. Sindri, why don't you just make up with your brother already?
Me? Make up with him? Because he's an obstinate pighead incapable of change. Because he says the most terrible things about me just because he's insecure about his own work, which, let me tell you, is subpar. Because he blames me for the things that aren't my fault.
Huh? Like what?
Would you pardon me, please?
I need to collect myself.
So I love that he, A, knows about germs, kinda, his dwarf germ theory, and B, explains why Brock is blue and he is not. They didn't have to explain that. And they also kind of hint at how Sindri and Brock are getting around and getting ahead of us, which they also kind of don't need to explain, but it's much appreciated because it's sort of odd and maybe a little immersion breaking.
I said nothing.
Really? Okay.
Also, there is something going on with Atreus. He's now the first time you can play it off, maybe, that he's hearing
Your mother speak
a
of this
voice that's
Not
not
much.
there.
Just that since the elves are always fighting over the light, they kept them isolated.
This is an enchantment. We can't really do anything with that yet, but in a little while, we'll have some equipment that we can
Again,
modify with that.
I said nothing.
Weird. Could have sworn you said something.
What is it, boy?
Voices! You don't hear that?
I hear nothing.
It's going away now. There was screaming. Lots of voices. Angry. You really didn't hear that?
No.
It felt evil.
Evil voices. And this has only started up since we got to Alfheim.
Look! Should we try talking to them?
No.
But maybe they need help.
They do not stop us, so they do not concern us.
But
They
maybe...
do not concern us.
It's kind of a heartless position, but it's, I guess, better than his previous ethos of, oh god, there are light elves standing idly by in the distance. I need to jam them into some gears for puzzles. God, the lighting here is beautiful.
That must be the Ring Temple.
So before we head straight to our objective, we're actually going to sail around a bit. I didn't do any of the sailing back in the Lake of Nine in Midgard.
It's sad the elves can't work things out. Alfheim's such a beautiful place, but war makes it ugly.
You see with the eyes of a child. In war, a soldier sees beauty only in the blood of his enemy. The rest of him is lost, sometimes never to return.
You know about war, don't you?
Wars are fought for two things, survival or advantage. Battles may be won by the better soldier. Wars are won by those who are willing to sacrifice everything to ensure victory.
Boat stories. A lot of this game's unique dialogue happens when you're sailing from location to location. Nice! We got that Raven, too. So I was saying that... these nightmares can blind you. That's the unique feature of these ones here in Alfheim. I was saying that We didn't do much sailing around the Lake of Nine back in Midgard, mainly because we are going to be back there many, many times. It serves as a hub area. And also, we will get something later on which will give us a bunch of new information if we hit those optional locations that we're going to be revisiting anyway, if we visit them later on. So there's no sense really going around the lake yet. But here, I really only on screen intend to come to Alfheim this one time. So no reason to hold out and wait. May come back on my own time, but it's, again, not going to be on camera. Fossil worms in this location can get really annoying because this is one of the first locations in the game where they really start to group them together. And fighting multiple Totzel worms at a time can actually be pretty troublesome because they tend to cover each other really well. And it makes comboing a single one to death pretty difficult. Whoop. That one I just let get away. Oh, come on back. We have another one of these hidden chambers. We'll be getting an item much later in the game to open these up. Oh, this is perfect. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, thank you, Atreus. Popped him out of the ground when he was half submerged. There we go, there we go. And we still have the other one somewhere. Can't wait till I upgrade the parry. The parry gets really, really good. Then we will come through here, and we can't quite break both of those yet. I think. Oh, no, we can. This is just, you have to line this up correctly. So the deal with these is that you want to hit all three at once. Like if you hit only two at a time, then they will just respawn. So the deal with this one is that it's actually based on like where you are when you recall the axe. It's just very positioning dependent. I'll get to that on the way back because we still have a chest up here. I generally think those vine puzzles, the vines with the bulbs, are actually kind of cool. Especially these optional ones. We get Frost Giant's Frenzy now, which is a new runic attack we'll be seeing a bunch of. Alright, so one more time. This just opens up, I think, a hack silver chest, but still, I want to do this correctly. Nope, we need to shift over to the left, I think, a little bit. Yeah! I love especially when they build puzzles around hitting things with the recall of the axe and not the initial throw. That's why I like some of the vine puzzles so much. And back to the boat for more boat stories. And again, instead of sailing towards the light, we're going to hit one more optional area and then get back to the main path.
Sindri said Mother was a warrior. Was she in a war too?
Of a sort. Her family was decimated by hostile rivals, and she alone survived. She walked the warrior's path, but her war was to live on. To brave an unforgiving world alone.
And that's why she asked Sindri and Brock to make her the axe?
She had the strength to wield such a weapon, and the wisdom to use it for good. She found purpose in protecting the weak.
So, she'd help out the elves?
No.
Oh, like Atreus picks up on the inconsistency real quick. So one of my favorite things was there was this like rapid fire Q&A between Game Informer and Corey Barlog. It was like 106 questions or something. And it was all like really tongue-in-cheek, pretty funny. But he drops that there's like, he drops this figure of 25% of the game takes place on the boat. And I don't think it's that far off, actually, if you tally all of it up. It's the Berserk game we've all been dreaming of. So Brain, as I previously said, has been doing a bang-up job tracking the boys per minute. The amount of times that Kratos utters the word boy. Brain, can I foist this upon you? This new task on top of your current boy tracking duty? Can you maybe track the elapsed time that we spend on the boat throughout the LP and express that as a percentage of total game length by comparing it against the total length of all the videos added up? So, like, every second that we spend on the boat, just add that up over all of the parts of the LP. I want to see how close we get to that 25% number. I'm thinking it's at least 10% of the game. I don't know. It sounds like too much now. Getting the execute on these, perfect. That works really well. I wasn't exactly juggling them before when we landed on the opposite beach. Oh, also shoutouts to Epic/Demon/Jack for all of the Norse mythos he's been dropping in the comments. He also did a lot of Judeo-Christian mythology posts back during the Darksiders LPs. So this is yet another Nornir chest puzzle. The ones that we're really looking for are the ones that make a noise. Those are the ones with a rune. But the glass is frosted over, so we can't exactly see which rune is which. So we just need to kind of trial and error this and figure out which of these make the noise. That's your indicator that there is a corresponding rune. Then you just memorize which ones are which and hit them. There's no order that you need to memorize either. This, by the way, is the location we saw the Light Elves not too long ago. They do not bother us, so they do not concern us line. And then here we have another really simple but kind of cool puzzle. You can either do this with the recall, or if you're quick enough, you can just do it like this. And then the other way is, of course, throw it at the bottom one, let the bottom one respawn, and then recall it and hit the lever. And then throw it again. So we're going to ignore that shimmering blue rift for a second and just come over here and solve the other puzzle that we saw on the way in, the other vine puzzle. This one we couldn't have done from the lower route because we actually needed to get high enough to... Oh, there we go. To line everything up. And we'll step down. We have no more vines in our way up top, so we can just run back in a second. We're coming here to get something new which will help us momentarily. And this is my least favorite vine puzzle, because it's very finicky. So this device rotates 2 of the vines. There are 3 in total. And once we let go of this, they'll slowly move back to their starting positions. So you have to be in a really precise spot, which I think is right here. Wait for them to move so that all 3 are lined up, and then precisely throw the axe. It takes longer than you might think to figure out exactly where to throw from at first. And this, the amulet of Kasavr? Or Kasir? This, what does this do? That's not my timing. By the way, I'm having to figure this out on the fly because I didn't use this in my first playthrough. Looks like the timing is pretty tight. Looks like the timing is pretty close. No, boy! No, 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 no! Don't combo the monster! You did a pretty good job comboing the monster. Okay, yeah, there's my timing. Cool. Yeah, you actually don't get as much wiggle room as I thought. It really does have to be last second. So that is witch time. Or if you will, dad time. I want to see Kratos doing like sexy Bayonetta dances. And now that we have our Witch Time trinket, let's just jam our hand in this big rift, and out comes a super strong monster. 2 of them, in fact. Everything that they throw is unblockable. They are real tough. Luckily, I had invincibility on the end of that hit.
I don't think so. You gonna be okay?
These are... Ooh, look how hard that hit. Almost dead. I do have that 1 resurrection stone, which we will probably need. Woo! I'm holding on to Rage of the Gods for this. This is our first use of the resurrection stone, too. So this rift is basically a big challenge mode. It's like the Bayonetta Muspelheim portals, kind of, except without any kind of condition tacked on. Just gotta be real careful, because you'll more or less get one shot by anything. So we want to at least focus fire this dude down. And even those really quick jabs will be enough to kill me from this health. Okay, now you... Just the one shouldn't be too bad. The one I really have to watch out for is that first hit. The ones with the wind-up, not so much of a problem. That's good damage.
One more to go.
And unfortunately, the level 1 version of Witch Time... Damn! Unfortunately, the level 1 version of Witch Time does not last long enough to, I think, be super effective. I think the duration increases as you upgrade the talisman, though. They started me back from the dual wielder right after I got the Witch Time amulet. Solid. Wish I would have activated Witch Time. I'm actually gonna quiet down a little bit. This is hard enough that I actually need to concentrate. Haven't needed that in a long, long time. Had a nice juggle going too. If I can juggle a second one, this will be much easier. That's easier said than done. Because really, the boy is the only one that causes the ground bounce.
Not yet.
He's gonna get stunned right as he dies. That sucks. Alright, so that was a clean first one. I still have... Whoa! Motherfucker! Still have a Resurrection Stone and Rage of the Gods. I'm not going to use Rage of the Gods early. Like, if I die, I die. I would rather save it for a bit. Because I'm not going to get a second one, and if I'm going to lose... Like, I would rather have that out of the way early rather than delay this. I think that's fine. I have a good enough of a grasp now. Nice. God damn, Atreus is putting work in. Ooh. I'm glad I decided to cancel that attack instead of committing. Yeah, these are not only out-leveling me pretty heavily, they are also just elites. Hey, we did it. It's not even that much experience either. 50. But for closing that rift and completing that challenge, we get a very rare crafting material called the Dust of Realms, along with a new labor, which is just sort of a God of War contextualized achievement. So really satisfying to do, and a good way to show off our new talisman. Now back to the boat.
Father, you ever know anyone else who heard voices?
I knew desperate men at sea who, when our supplies ran dry, would quench their thirst by drinking seawater. They swore the sirens, evil creatures singing to them from nearby islands, were in fact their wives and daughters calling them home. They endangered the crew, steering us toward the reefs.
How did you fix them?
We threw them overboard.
Oh. Well, good thing I didn't drink any seawater. Right?
Yes, it is.
Alright, so thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one.